Hey racers, and welcome back to another live stream. Today's live stream is what to do or what's actually happening if you are sore after racing. So I saw one of my riders that I worked with a few years back that stopped riding for a little bit, came back to racing, and he was just said in his post about how sore he was on the trip back and the days after as well. So I thought it would be a good topic to cover today. What causes soreness? Why do you get sore when you or after riding? Even if you do training, even if you do fitness work. So um, the same thing happened for me. So when I was racing, hey Andrew, I did a lot of training. Okay, I did a lot of fitness work. I would go and do RPM sessions, go and do cardio sessions. I did weights in the morning. I did cycling. I did longer distance cardio. I did body weight stuff. I did push-ups. I did CrossFit for a bit. I did swimming. Did a whole heap of stuff. Okay, a lot of stuff to try and keep fit. And one of the things that would happen, especially after not so much the hard pack tracks, a little bit on the hard pack tracks, but more so on the sand tracks, like the really rough sand tracks where you're really fighting the bike, it's really testing your fitness. I would pull up sore in the coming days. So I'd wake up the next morning, and I remember this is when I was in juniors. Dad would come in and be like, "How have you pulled up, champ? How are you feeling this morning? Are you sore?" And just about every Monday morning I would be sore, but more so after the big races. So like if it was a state round, where the races were longer, where the track was rougher, and again, especially in the sand. So even though I was doing all that training, now you would think doing all that training and fitness work, training 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a week, that you would be fit enough. I would be fit enough to be able to do a few 15-minute motos and not be sore. And this is where a lot of the riders have the mindset where it comes in. It's like, oh, nothing replicates riding the bike. Okay, nothing's as hard as riding the bike. That's how hard it is that you're always going to get sore from it, no matter what training you do, which is not entirely true. So the thing that for someone to get sore, so if we just take riding out of it for a minute, we just focus on the training. For someone's body to be able to get sore, what that means is the level of stress that it's been put under is higher than what it's used to. Okay, so if I don't do any squats ever, and then I go and do some squats, even if it's just with my body weight, and I smash out a decent amount of those, I'm going to be sore the next day. And the reason I'm going to be sore the next day is because my body's not used to doing that many squats. Same as if you start doing weight training. If you've only ever done body weight training and then start doing weight training, you're going to pull up pretty sore from doing weight training because your body's not used to being under that much load, under that much stress. Might even be if you go running or do a row on a rowing machine. Okay, if you haven't done those things and you go and do them, then what's going to happen is your body's put under stress. It's not used to that stress, and so it becomes sore because what's happening, that stress is breaking down your body. Okay, muscle fibers in your body are being torn and broken down because they've been put under so much stress, and that's what contributes to the soreness that you get in the coming days. So, same thing if you're training, right? So, like when I was racing, I was training. I was doing lightweight training in the morning. I was going and doing swimming. I was doing RPM sessions, and still get sore after race day. It's like, how does that happen? And so the reason that happens is because the level of stress I was putting on my body during the week wasn't anywhere near the stress I was putting on my body when I was riding the bike on the weekend. So I was training with this much stress, and when I was going riding, I was getting this much stress. So I was really sore and really fatigued after races. Now, what we want to do ideally is we want to flip that around. We want to put our body under this much stress, okay, during the week, and then when we ride, only be under this much stress. So in other words, we want to do more training and put our body under more stress during the week. So when we go and race on the weekend, that level of stress is much lower, which means our body's already used to it and we don't get as much soreness and as much fatigue. Okay. So ultimately what it comes down to is, are you doing the right training? Okay. Are you doing the right stuff? So for me, when I was doing a lot of cycling, I didn't have a focus on lifting heavy weights because I thought I was going to get too big and bulky and get arm pump. And so I'd go and ride the bike and I'd get really sore after. The reason I'd get really sore after riding the bike is because the bike weighs about 100 kilos. My body weight at the time was about 70. So I had 170 kilos there that I was trying to muscle around, but I wasn't training with anywhere near 170 kilos. I was doing push-ups in my bedroom, okay, doing RPM, cardio spin class sessions, okay, or going swimming. So that's why I was getting such a high level of soreness. So there's a couple of ways that you want to approach this. The first thing to reducing soreness, though, is you have to be able to get your strength, your level of strength, to a level where the bike feels much lighter. So if you're not doing any strength work, any weights work, okay, and you're just dealing with or using the strength that you've got, chances are when you go and ride the bike and move a 100 kilo bike around, your body's not used to moving 100 kilos around. Okay, it's like you when you haven't trained at the gym for months and then go to the gym for the first time. You feel sore and you feel fatigued. And that's one of the problems I find with a lot of riders is during the week, they'll train one way. They'll go and do lots of cardio and lots of push-ups and lots of light weights and high reps and do F45 or CrossFit type workouts, which is great, but that's only training mostly your body weight. And then you go to the weekend and ride and you're trying to throw around a 100 kilo bike plus your body weight and you get sore. And that's because they're two completely different types of training. So the training that you need to be doing during the week is you need to be lifting weights, preferably with a barbell, okay? Back squats, deadlifts, overhead presses, bent over rows. These are the types of movements that you need to be focusing on because these are what are going to allow you to overload your body with enough weight and get you strong to make the bike feel light. And ultimately, that's what we want to be able to do. So that's one side. The other component that we want to focus on is the cardio and the conditioning side. So if you are doing, for example, if all of your training during the week is long distance cardio, it's all long distance cycles, no strength work, and you're just doing long cardio all the time. Number one, you're going to get sore on the bike because you don't have strength, which we just addressed. The second thing is that you're probably not training the right type of cardio. So if we take, hey Luke, if we take a motocross track, for example, there's parts of a motocross track which are very physically demanding, and there's parts which aren't as demanding. You might have a really tough whoop section which takes a lot of physical effort. You might have it like coming onto the main straight for a lot of tracks is nice and smooth and you can sit down, it's fast, but it doesn't take a lot of physical effort. So we need to train with interval training, okay? Short, sharp bursts of high intensity. So if you're doing all of your training as long distance, lower intensity stuff, and then you go out to the track where it's short, sharp bursts of high intensity, then you're training different types of cardio, okay? So you're going to be sore because, again, the stress that comes from doing intervals and the stress that comes from doing long distance cardio are different. And so your body's not going to be used to that level of stress of working really, really hard and then having a break, and then working really, really hard and having a break. So you're going to be very sore and very fatigued the next day. So ultimately, that's how you fix the problem, is you need to be doing the right training. If you're getting, there's always going to be some level of soreness or level of fatigue after racing because of the intensity. Because you're in a competitive environment, the intensity is always elevated. When the intensity is elevated, that means you've got more stress put on your body. And that's very, very hard to replicate. But what we can do is get as close as we possibly can. So it's not uncommon for our guys, like all of our guys, will go training the next day after they go and race. Okay, they'll go and race on the weekend, have a big race. If they're not traveling, not in the car, come and race on, go back to training on Monday. Okay, get back into the Tuesday session and then Thursday and then done for the week. And so they carry a lot of momentum with their training throughout the season. It's not every time they go and ride the bike, they're having a week off. So if you're getting excessively sore after riding a race day and it's taking you a few days to recover, then you know that you need to look at your training. There's something there that's not quite right. Either you haven't been consistent with your training, or if you have been, you're just not doing the right stuff. So if you would like to be able to get an A-grade level of fitness in the next 16 weeks without having to train every day, so only having to do 3 one-hour blocks of training every week, and on top of that, only needing to ride once per week, then apply to work with me. I'll put a coaching form up below for you guys. I've got 5 new spots open for riders that haven't worked with me yet. Let's see what's happening here. It's loading up. So if you want to fill that up, so again, if you'd like an A-grade level of fitness, only training 3 times per week, and only needing to get on the bike once per week, then this is for you. So you can click on the coaching form below in the comments, put your details in, your name, what you're working towards, ask a little bit about your riding and what you'd like some help with, and then I can see if I can help or not. But otherwise, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I will chat to you soon. See ya.